warming up with some vigour just before the break. I think we've seen all we're going to see of Mark Guillou tonight. What was a very impressive first outing for him. We're seeing Wesley Fofana out there, right? Raheem Sterling. Looks like he's going to play in the second half. What you might have expected, given what we talked about at half-time, the fact that Chelsea only landed here.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Late on Monday night into the early hours of Tuesday. With precisely one training session at Stamford. And then it's first outing of the tour. Just a night later. Armando Broja wearing number 19. The Albanian is out there from the start as well. Ogo Chukwu, wearing 16, is also there. Chelsea now going from left to right on your screens. Of course, 5-0 winners against Wrexham in Chapel Hill, North Carolina last summer. A whole flurry of late goals in front of 50,000 there to widen the scoreline on that night. Raheem Sterling trying to go on the end of that long ball from Ben Chilwell. Sterling, start of his third season now with the club. 10 goals last year in all competitions, only 8 in the Premier League. And the assumption is he'll still have a chance to really claim that left-sided spot as his own under Enzo Maresca. Plenty of competition in that department. Plenty of competition in every department.
Sure. And that's expected. You're not at a club like Chelsea and think you're going to just cruise through anything, particularly as you get a little older and maybe had a season that wasn't quite to your expectation.
Now Augusto looking for the free kick. George Dobson has already showed what he's made of. McLean working it forward. Elliot Lee, didn't see a huge amount of him in the first half. Lee, who didn't play on Saturday against Bournemouth, of course was the club's second top scorer behind Paul Mullen, as that cross gets a deflection and, well, changing goal as well. Chelsea.
Yeah, awkward, just catches his own teammate with the ball and then is able to recover.
Eddie Beach is the man. Lucas Bergstrom, I'm sorry, is the man in goal instead of Robert Sanchez at the start of his second half. Bergstrom on the bench many times last season, went on loan to Sweden in the second half of the year. All right. Achimpong, Angelo, Wesley Fofana, Achimpong, another 18-year-old. Another product of the Chelsea Youth Academy. And there's number 34. He made his Premier League debut at the tail end of last season against Spurs. England under-17 international. Dobson. There's Gusto stepping in to win it. Palmer. Without, of course, his partner in crime, Super Paul Mullin. Paul Mullin going in for back surgery, preventing him from playing a part in this US tour. That was after the injury he picked up a year ago. On right to Angelo. Angelo, who wears 41 for Chelsea. 19-year-old who spent most of last year on loan in France with Strasbourg, playing under Patrick Vieira. Dobson across to Lee. Applying the pressure at Ogachukwu. Ball over the top, which Wrexham had to come and deal with.
Yeah, it was well read. I mean, it was one of those ones where you were hoping that you get a little block from your defender, which eventually did and made his decision that much easier. It's always tricky coming in at halftime. Yes, you get a little bit of a warm-up during the half, which is better than having to come in cold, but still, it's just not the same as when you start a match and then kind of in your mental progression. So it's always nice to get that early touch, having to read the play. And I don't expect he's going to have a lot to do, Bergstrom, in the second half, but it's always tricky, too, when you make 10 changes and you expect your side to come into it very clean, which isn't always the case.
So this is the current Chelsea 11 after all those changes. Enzo Maresca. With so many options and possibilities at his disposal. The man whose Leicester City side scored over 100 goals in the Championship last year. They went up in the end with a game to spare after a little scare late on. This is McLean moving Wrexham forward. Elliot Lee just putting the brakes on.
And it doesn't surprise me, Adrian, at this stage of preseason for Wrexham that they've got more of a lineup as they continue to work toward that match fitness, that their team is less changes, I think, with only the one, and I think Will Boyle came in.
Conquo able to deal with the cross from Angelo. Angelo originally from Santos, that main Brazilian powerhouse.
I'm surprised Wrexham haven't had a Brazilian player yet. I thought it was mandatory that every club had one Brazilian player at least.
Well, I'm sure the powers that be are
they're working on it.
Working to change that. Wrexham did make that one switch at halftime. Will Boyle coming on for Max Cleworth, centre back. Boyle wearing number 25. Is the only one to survive the cold at half-time. The only outfield player who stayed out there at the start of the second half. Here's Achampong given away. Revan. Nice ball from McLean, who manages to fend off the first challenge. And Palmer would have been offside.
You know, we talked about the pace that Chelsea had defensively, and that doesn't really change with Fofana. And actually, coming in as well, that they're going to be able to do exactly the same thing that they did to Wrexham in the first half. They're going to be able to push that line high, pin Wrexham in their own half, knowing that they have the recovery pace. And then what they're able to do then is, because of that, they know they've got that recovery pace. They're able to slide into a back three in possession, push the outside players further up, and again get more players in the attack. I thought it was something that at times they didn't do as well as I would have liked to have seen Chelsea, particularly in Ryan Sterling, just causing problems.
Pickpocketing work from Sterling. And a Sterling save from Okonkwo, using his feet. And the attack is not dead yet by any means. Sterling keeping it alive. Chilwell. Long-range shot perhaps for Achimpong. He declined the opportunity.
Yeah, Achimpong, it wasn't there. The idea was, right, the last thing you want to do is get that blocked and then force everybody to chase back. So I thought he made a good decision, is the patience and trying to create the opportunity. But Wrexham do an excellent job of just getting numbers back, clogging up the defense, but then gifting possession straight back. Isn't something that Phil Parkinson's side is going to want to do too often. If they're going to clear their lines, get up, give themselves some reprieve. But instead, gifting it back so quickly. It's really almost a training session right now, where Chelsea is just trying to find an opening. And we've talked about it throughout these three halves we've seen with Wrexham. They're very well organized defensively. They drop back well. They clog space. Now the key then will be is how often can they then get possession for themselves, hold the ball up, and create an opportunity to get back into this match.
Yeah. Alexis talking to Rob McElhenney at halftime. He said, listen, we just want to keep this close. Yeah. And they're doing that so far.
And that's the key. I mean, because all you can do is you keep it close, and then you never know. Then there's a set piece, there's a mistake that you capitalize on. If you give up the second and the third quickly, then it becomes not the exercise you hope it is.
Sterling, Chukwuemeka. Well, it was there for him. Disappointed that he couldn't keep his effort down.
Yeah, Sterling's done a great job just kind of sliding out wide. Does a good job, but just gets lucky on the initial ball, and ball was out of bounds and a foul, but he got away with both of them. And then decent save. There's the foul. There's the ball out of bounds. And you're like, oh, all right, it's preseason. And then Okonkwo makes the save with his foot. From that angle, you always, again, the expectation it was going to take something special, but it's always nice when it probably was a foul and the ball probably was out of bounds, that then you don't concede off of something like that.
Elliot Lee. Who's the son of someone you used to play against quite regularly, Casey, and Rob Lee.
That's when you know you're getting old, Adrian. When you're playing against people you're broadcasting on guys you played against kids.
And Elliot Lee isn't even that young. He's 29.
Just keep piling on, Adrian.
Revan. He's looked good. Oh, it's a good service. Palmer missed it. All the way through for the equaliser. And to the delight of a lot of the crowd here, the Dragons have breathed some fire and have equalised in Santa Clara. Full credit to them. Good work down the left. Revan involved.
It's just when possession's taken over in midfield, we talked about waiting for those opportunities. Revan does a good job after the turnover, but Chelsea get themselves in a decent defensive position. Then it's just Lee holds. Revan just kind of comes down here, puts a hopeful ball in, and it's just the shape. That's part of the problem when you do make 10, 11 saves at halftime, that the shape then gets pushed away. And I think there was ideas that it was potentially offside. The flag didn't come up, and eventually falls to Bolton at the far post. It was a pretty simple finish in the end.
Yeah, Luke Bolton couldn't miss, could he? And all of a sudden, Wrexham have the wind in their sails here. Bolton, who played in the Championship with Luton, former Man City Academy player as well.
But you see this happen a lot, Adrian, when you make those big shifts of complete defenses, and guys are looking around for offside, but somebody didn't step up, somebody went with the runner, somebody didn't go with the runner, and so yeah, it's not surprising, and that's what you see in preseason matches like this when you have wholesale changes at halftime. So now it'll be a question is, when I used to play in these games against lower opposition, it was always a case of understanding just don't embarrass the club. Your job is to get a result. Chelsea are not supposed to lose or draw against Wrexham. You can understand that this goal that was conceded because of the circumstances and the changes and whatever else. But then there's enough talent left on this field for Chelsea after all those changes that they should get themselves back in the lead. And that's what that man wants to see. He wants to see character. He wants to see, okay, there's been maybe didn't go as planned in conceding the goal, but now how do you react?
As Ollie Palmer, who played his part in the goal, goes down to win another free kick. It was Lee.
So look at the miscommunication between who's going to go with the man, who's going to go, and then probably disappointed with how the challenge came first, and then the mismarking at the far post. And Chilwell stuck in the back marker trying to mark two players. And in the end, as it falls to Bolton, he's able just to strike it on the empty net. So, yeah, not real good organization as now we see some changes from Wrexham.
Yeah. Bolton, who didn't score in the entire League Two campaign last year, has a goal here at the 49ers Stadium as Ollie Palmer has made his last contribution. Sam Dalby will be the man to replace him up front. Logical switch. I think Stephen Fletcher dressed for tonight's game. Jordan Davies is going to come on. Ryan Barnett also. Jordan Davies to a huge reception. Third fan favourite George Evans also getting a run out. Andy Cannon. Jack Marriott has also come in for Wrexham. Now McLean is in a lot of space here. All of a sudden they're threatening again. And McLean's ball didn't find a willing taker.
Yeah, the defensive breakdown in Chelsea's left-hand side. I'm not sure if there's an idea that Sterling is supposed to drop back into that space. Unlikely. The idea is that he should probably stay high, and then whatever the shape is to kind of fall in. Chilwell's getting stuck, overloaded.
Well, the Chelsea defence having some wobbly moments. And they had plenty of wobbly moments last year. That would have probably been priority number one, you would think, for Enzo Maresca, looking at where does he pick up from last year. Last year, Casey, they conceded 63 goals in the Premier League, which was their worst defensive total since the pre-Premier League era, 1990-91, last time they conceded more.
Yeah, you can just see the disarray. The players aren't going with runners, and that run comes from a deeper position. Yeah, maybe there was somebody offside centrally, but they're not actually playing the ball. So, yeah, no question that it's possible that with all these changes that it's going to take a little while for Chelsea to get their defensive shape right. But give credit to Wrexham. They've come out in the second half, and before these changes were made on their half, they found an equalizer and have created 2 or 3 other little half chances.
And applying the pressure there, Andy Cannon, it's well dealt with. All those goals conceded last year in the Premier League. What redressed the balance was what they did at the other end. They scored 77.
Well, that's the only way you're going to survive. but they don't want to get themselves and get in shootouts with opponents. They want to be able to keep clean sheets. They want to be able to win 2-1, 3-1. You don't want to have to score 3-4 goals to win games. It's excellent when you can, and it's great for the fans, or at least for the neutral, but you have to be able to be clean defensively if they're going to be able to finish higher than 6th place and get themselves back into being a club that's challenging at the top of the table.
Reacting to all the Wrexham substitutes being announced here. There's many familiar names and faces from the TV series. Story of what a club means to a community in both good times and bad. It's what's really touched a nerve. I can tell you, Casey, there are fans of about 70 other lower division teams in England, myself amongst them, thinking, what if? Could have been our club quite easily.
But it truly has been. I mean, talking to Rob McElhenney at the weekend, at the match in Santa Barbara against Bournemouth, I mean, they truly can't believe the fairy tale that it's become, and with back-to-back promotions, the success of the series, and everything that comes along with it. So it really has been something special.
Plenty of Wrexham fans out and about around the San Francisco area.
And not bad, being able to come to Santa Barbara,
they're living the dream, really, aren't
San
they?
Francisco, and then head up to the Pacific Northwest for out in Vancouver. It's a pretty good combination of cities and places.
And here they are, going toe-to-toe with another Premier League team for the second time in 4 nights.
Yeah, this is what we've seen a couple times. Just when Chelsea's been a little sloppy defensively, they've just had to make some fouls to stop the counterattack. But we saw that as that first half progressed, as the players got a little bit more comfortable, knocked off, some of that rust, with all of these players being their first match of this preseason for Chelsea, and non-surprising that they're maybe not as clean as they would like in possession in particular.
Certainly the fluidity we saw from Chelsea at times in the first half has not been there, but Sterling trying to do something about that now. He's going to go for the byline clip cross as well.
Just overhit it slightly, but still, if they can do more of keeping this type of possession, winning second, third balls, combining in midfield, but then again, we saw once again McLean now dropping back into his more, role that we're used to seeing him in, and that more of a left-back role, and doing a great job of just blocking off that 1-2 inside the 18. But one thing they don't want to do, Wrexham, is just allow Chelsea 2 or 3 opportunities to put crosses in the box and be able to put levels of sustained pressure on.
Midway point of the second half here in Santa Clara. You can catch another international club friendly on Friday. ESPN Plus, 7:30 Eastern, the time. Liverpool taking on Real Betis. We will go back down the West Coast, Casey and I, for Arsenal against Manchester United at SoFi. Looking forward to that very much on Saturday night. we do the tour of the giant West Coast NFL stadiums here at Levi's after Phil Parkinson had rung the changes. That's what their lineup looks like at the moment. Dobson is still out there. He's played from the start. McLean is an absolute beast, Casey. He won't come off the pitch, will he, at the age of 35?
Well, there's always those guys, that are just they're just runners, and they're just natural runners, and McLean has always been that guy. And so it doesn't surprise me that he has then dropped back into this position where he was asked to do a role in the first half higher up the pitch.
Wesley Fofana missed all of last year. There's a busy old treatment room around Cobham, the Chelsea training centre last year. Some of those players now becoming available, almost like new signings for Enzo Maresca. They haven't done a huge amount of business by their lofty standards in this off-season so far. Still plenty of time to go in it, of course. Dewsbury Hall is one new arrival we haven't seen yet. That's nicely done by Wrexham, and they're on the way again. Jack Marriott on his left foot. Oh, it's a great finish. How about that? This story just keeps becoming more and more unbelievable. Welcome to Santa Clara.
Well, this is showing Enzo Maresca that maybe his squad isn't as strong as he thinks it is. Making these kind of changes, getting sloppy, and then getting punished for it twice now in the second half. And this starts off okay, but then coming inside, good challenge for Marriott who started it, then the giveaway, but the shape it's just, Fofana doesn't quite come over enough. Great challenge. And then to win the ball back, and then from that angle, it's a pretty good angle, and Marriott coming on just a few minutes ago. But what a great touch. You always love seeing the striker work hard to help win the ball back and then get on the end of the play and finish it off at the other end. So great work from Marriott.
Super finish, wasn't it? From a player who really only played a bit part last season. 17 appearances, only one goal in League Two. But he's a player with goals in his past. He was the League One Golden Boot winner back in 2018. Also scored a playoff goal in the Championship for Derby in 2019, so he knows where the back of the net is.
But Chelsea's shape has been horrible since they made the substitutions at halftime. And Wrexham have made them pay with the indecision and players not running with players. And yeah, that's the look of a manager that just realized he's got some work to do in this preseason.
Enzo Maresca, the 44-year-old Italian Pep Guardiola, singing his praises, saying he is going to be an extraordinary manager. Well, this would be an extraordinary start for him if it stays the way it is, albeit in a game that matters not.
Does it?
in terms of league points, maybe in the PR perception battle, it's a different story. But as that corner comes in.
I mean, the English press is really fun.
They're going to have a field day
for sports.
Yes. They'll react very calmly, Casey.
Very.
Well, let's have a look again at this finish. And Marriott will probably get an assist as well for the tackle he made.
Yeah, and with no real help after the quick turnover. Really had no other option but to strike, and he struck it so cleanly. Back across Bergstrom, and it was a nice finish.
So what can Chelsea do? the ball. Sterling facing that bank of two, working his way inside. Disappointing end product from Malo Gusto.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Yeah, and again, it's hard to, like I said, be critical, knowing that they've come off a plane in the first match, and he knew instantly that it was a poor ball. But this is where I want to see, I think, probably the most. I want to see Chelsea see how they can press Wrexham and not allow outlets and not allow them to be able to play through. We saw that for large stretches of the first half, that's what they did very well. They didn't allow Wrexham into any kind of sustained possession, and really they knew that their pace in that back line was going to allow them to press high and be able to recover. But the shape has been woeful to start this second half from Chelsea defensively, and Wrexham have punished them. Now, I'm looking for a response, as I'm sure the management is as well. And again, 2 or 3 just opportunities to play 1-2s on the top of the 18, and the final ball just is not good.
Well, we talked about Trevor Chalobah being left behind for Chelsea. Of course, they have other players who only recently finished their national team summers, like Enzo Fernandez, Conor Gallagher, Mark Cucurella, Cole Palmer, of course. There is England exploits. So there's yet more options for Enzo Maresca to be mulling over.
And George Thompson with another challenge, and probably basically saying, look, I don't want to send you off with 2 yellow cards in a preseason friendly, so let's just be careful to finish this off. The Chelsea players are going, come on, how's that not a yellow card? and then this is what happens.
Yes.
A lot of times they say, hey, let's just take him off.
Just get him out of there.
Yeah.
That's the last hurrah for Dobson. And he's going to make way for a much younger Harry Ashfield. Harry Ashfield, a childhood fan of the club. He's been with them since 2015. Second-year scholar. Achimpong. Achimpong made his full debut at the end of the season. It's a rough start, isn't it, for Angelo? Brazilian under-20 international. 32,724 announced as the attendance tonight at Levi Stadium. It's been a going concern for exactly 10 years. This is Marriott on his way again, looking to wreak more havoc. They have a man over here again, Wrexham.
Just took too much time. They had it. What a shame for Wrexham, as that opened up again with just poor defending, just ball watching, and Chilwell once again just being overrun 2v1 and then winning a challenge and running it again.
Here they go again with Dalby near post. Oh, they got the shot away. Good save by Bergstrom. Needed to be.
But Achimpong again left everybody onside, just not in connection with the back line, and just the shape defensively continues. Then another run. That time
delivering it to McLean. Wrexham are looking for the knockout punch here, and Chelsea are on the ropes. Really extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, Andy Kennan had made a nice run that wasn't found. But yeah, those runs from deeper in midfield, there's just no marking from Chelsea.
Again, look at that good play down the right from Ryan Barnett, who won the ball initially, and then it was Dalby on his way.
and Marriott just, again, I mean, it's a simple ball, but just so slow from Acheampong to come across and get good defensive shape that Marriott beats him, and it's a decent save from Bergstrom in the end. But yeah, that's a worrisome that this shape that Chelsea have put out defensively this second half.
Well, they looked in control in the first half, didn't they, Chelsea?
They did. Yeah, that's
their first teamers out there without ever being totally dominant. Wrexham were able to battle and keep it close, and if they've been rewarded in the second half. They've made the most of their opportunities. They're going to defend as if their lives depended upon it. Try and pull off a real shock here. And Chelsea have just over 10 minutes left to do something about it. Would not be the start that Enzo Maresca was looking for. And Sterling. Off kilter, looking for Angelo. They have it back, Chelsea, in a promising position.
Yeah, just tried to overplay. There wasn't any reason for Wrexham to try to play there, and in the end, they got away with it.
Yeah, Will Boyle, the centre-back breathing a sigh of relief. Marriott. Battling play from him, but it breaks kindly for the Blues here. Here's Angelo on the left foot. Angelo still.
Yeah, Chelsea have finally woken up, I think, in this second half.
Yeah. Gusto. Chukwuemeka has stayed down for now. Slowly back up. Angelo keeping it low. And the shot, the side foot, the equaliser. Ogachukwu. As Chelsea get back on level terms.
Well, what did we talk about, Adrian? We talked about one thing Wrexham couldn't allow is second and third chances from Chelsea. And 2 or 3 opportunities Wrexham had to clear their lines. They didn't do it, and the sustained pressure finally gave way. And as it opened up, it was just a simple pass into the back of the net.
Leslie Ogachukwu. He had Chukwuemeka down on the ground for a while as this attack started to unfold.
That line has to come up very quickly. And they just, when that challenge came in, nobody could react quick enough. They got stuck too deep. 6 players in the defensive line. And when the channel opened to be able to just pass it into the back of the net, it was taken advantage of. And what will the reaction now be with a very tired Wrexham? Even though there was a lot of changes made, but there's still work to be done. As we mentioned, right before that goal happened, it seemed like there was a little bit of a wake-up from Chelsea. Some tackles started coming in. They started to press the ball heavier in midfield, winning the ball, and then creating 2 or 3 little turnovers deep in the half, and Angelo just takes his eye off the ball.
It's been a rough first outing for the young Brazilian. Phil Parkinson's going to make a couple of switches to try and stem some of this tide that is flowing against his team at the moment. Anthony Ford is going to be one of those that comes on. Aaron James, I believe, is going to be another. And finally, James McLean is ushered off the field. I'm sure he didn't want to go. Let's go back to the equaliser again from Leslie Ogachukwu, French under-21 international. He might have been with the French Olympic team today, who opened up against the US. He made the provisional squad, but wasn't included in Thierry Henry's final Olympic team.
You see when that little channel opened up, it just was the simplest of just passes into the back of the net. But again, there's a good challenge there. And that's what we didn't see for the first 30 minutes of this second half. And then it almost took that go-ahead goal from Wrexham just to wake up this Chelsea side. And Wesley Fofana's like, all right, you're not going to turn me this time. If I don't win the ball, I'm going to win the man. And Marriott's slow to get up.
Look of steely determination in the face of Wesley Fofana, who only played 5 games for Chelsea in 2 seasons. Of course, big part of the Leicester City team that won the FA Cup against Chelsea. It was 3 years ago now. It's a dangerous ball across face the midfield. Andy Cannon did well.
Yeah, he did very well.
Marriott proved to be a handful. The Wrexham players didn't like the decision, which was a Chelsea free kick as Fofana stayed down. You can see Chelsea's next game with us on Saturday. They travel north to Notre Dame to take on Celtic. So we'll go from Welsh opposition to Scottish. Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on ABC. And from then on, the teams just get bigger and bigger for them. US Tour, Club America, Man City and Real Madrid to come. They never do things lightly. AC Chelsea, especially when it comes to...
Well, there's an expectation of who they're supposed to be and who they have been. And when you get opportunities to increase your brand against giant teams in America, then you take advantage of it. But so far it is. I think it's going to look a little different, let's say, by the end of these 5 games as it has today. So a lot of work is going to have to be done if Chelsea are going to be competitive in the Premier League from the start this season.
A lot of spotlight will be on new coach Enzo Maresca. As Sterling tries to provide him with a bright ending to the game. Well, he's won himself a corner.
A really good change of pace once again from Sterling. He just glides past defenders at times. And again, a very good recovering challenge. It's when you have help that comes across and then nice tackle. It was Aaron James that came all the way across to make that challenge.
Wrexham chance for the crowd as Chelsea to make the most of this set piece. Well defended by Wrexham, who could turn defence into attack here. Marriott just turned back into trouble. And now Chelsea can reset themselves. Angelo. Right-footed along the ground, better from him this time. Just eluding everyone. Andre Santos giving chase. Santos, who started last year on loan at Nottingham Forest. So Enzo Maresca, you look at the last 6 years for Chelsea. Casey, Sarri, Lampard, Tuchel, Potter, Lampard again, Pochettino.
Stable.
And now Maresca following suit. Will make things happen. Achimpong! Oh, that would have redressed the balance of his evening a little bit. Had that dipped under the bar.
Yeah, we talked about it again. It's those moments where Wrexham need to get out a little bit quicker, not allow the second and third opportunities. And Achimpong finds himself open outside the 18. Decent strike, always rising.
Enzo Maresca, by the way, Casey, the 7th Italian manager they've had since 2000. It's the timeline of the recent managers, but he's also following on from Vialli, Ranieri, Ancelotti, Di Matteo, Conte and Sarri. There are long lists everywhere we look at Chelsea. only Jose Mourinho has lasted longer than 2 years in the Chelsea hot seat in the last 2.5 decades. And he did it twice. Battling work from Armando Broja. The man who's played more international football than he has club football, Broja. Albanian. First ever Albanian to score in the Premier League. Get on the end of this cross now, and Broja nearly there. Good work from Boyle.
Yeah, Boyle did just enough in the end, Adrian. Otherwise, it very easily could have been a winner.
Wrexham scrapping and clawing to try and hold on to their second consecutive draw against Premier League opponents in the United States. They'll face MLS opposition at the end of their Rex Coast States. They'll face MLS opposition at the end of their Rex Coast tour this weekend as they take on the Vancouver Whitecaps. Only 2 minutes of additional time, so Wrexham are nearly there. Callum Burton, one of their new arrivals, getting goal in the second half, will take his time here. Marriott lurking, but Fofana aware of the danger. Time for one last hurrah here. Sterling. Good work, really good work from Chukwuemeka. And now Angelo needs a good cross. Can he find the right delivery? Keeps it low and short instead.
Slightly overhead.
Yeah. Broja was the intended target. Chilwell coolly done. Any way you look at it, Casey, a dramatic improvement from a year ago, and that's what Rob McElhenney was talking about at halftime. A year ago, it was 5-0 Chelsea in Chapel Hill.
Well, you can just see how the defensive shape is the understanding to drop back into a 5, to clog space centrally. When you have the opportunity to press, not necessarily high up the pitch, but in little areas in midfield, and then attack on the counter, understand your opposition, understand that you can't open yourself up, because if you do, you'll get punished, and I think it's been very smart. Now, it'll be different, I think, against the Vancouver Whitecaps in the match before they head back to Wales.
But they head up north of the border with a second consecutive draw against Premier League opposition. All smiles in the end for Enzo Maresca, whose side saves some face, but delight on that man's face. And why not? Wrexham a goal down at halftime, leading 2-1 until late into this one. In the end, a 2-2 draw, preserving some dignity for Chelsea. They will move on and look to get stronger next time out against Celtic. But we reach a conclusion here with the final scoreline reading Chelsea 2, Wrexham 2, and we'll be back one more time